I think there's a holy triumvirate of people responsible for the Americans winning now 5 straight gold medals. Jerry Colangelo, Coach K, and Kobe Bryant. Because it took Kobe Bryant, who loved Coach K and looked up to him, buying in completely to a hard-ass coach that was going to lead a bunch of millionaires to gold, and he did. And they rebuilt USA Basketball. And LeBron James is right there behind them because he bought in every single time and became a captain of this team. And he did what a captain is supposed to do. He scored some when he needed. He distributed. He played great defense. He rebounded. He was a leader of this group. I got no problem with him being the MVP.
20 assists over the final 2 games.
I loved it.
He was not willing to assist a young fan in France on his way to celebrate after the gold medal game, refusing to take a selfie with
Stop. Don't do that.
With said young fan. Tell him, stop, don't do that. Make way for the king was also there. Then when he gets to the doorway, which we cut it, there's another video when he gets to the doorway, starts dancing and celebrating with this gold medal. LeBron's known for snapping at people that get in his way. Celebrating, no selfies. Not allowed by the king.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's it's not a great look when we're taking one video out and showing that happen. I'll also say, now's not the time. Quite frankly, I don't give a shit that LeBron James.
Well, I don't know the backstory.
At the end of a long tournament, is telling one kid, I'm not in the mood for selfies right now. He's got a security detail walking him through something. LeBron James is bothered at every turn of his life. Like anywhere he goes in public, he's being hounded by people. Would I like to see LeBron James, share a moment with that kid and put him in his arms and take a selfie with him and do all these things? Sure. I'd love to see that. I don't give a shit right now. I can't be compelled to care.
Well said.
I'm sorry. So.
Well, and I also don't know the backstory of this.
Yeah. I'm not going to try to get.
Video.
I'm never going to try to get you, the viewer of Jonathan Hutton and Chad Withrow, if you're tuning into this show to watch us, to care about something I don't care about. So I am telling you, I don't care. You can care. You can spend time caring about it. That is up to you. I don't care. I'm more concerned with them winning the gold medal and putting ego aside to do that. That's what I care about. I can't compel you to care about something I don't give a shit about. I don't know how many times I need to say it. I don't give a shit. They just won the gold medal. LeBron can do what he wants and walk right past him. So, great. Don't care. And I'm not a big LeBron James fan. In fact, I'm not a LeBron James fan at all. But I am a fan of him right now in this tournament.
He was great in this tournament,
and this is as close as I've ever been to being a LeBron James fan. So I'm just not going to care about this in this moment.
So, the final medal count that the captain and the MVP.
El Capitan.
Helped lead to another gold. You have the Team USA women's team. It took another close game, but they ended up doing just that. So United States and China tie for 40 golds apiece. But the overall total, 35 more medals for the United States compared to China, who came in second in the medal total of the Olympic Games. Japan, Australia, and France round out your top 5. 126 medals is dominant.
It's a lot.
And especially when you consider that the golds are with basketball and, track and swimming and others. It's props to the red, white, and blue. They rep well.
Vive la France. Vive la France. With 63 medals also. That's huge. That shows the power of a host nation. And when you get athlete entrance into every sport because you're the host nation, you get to do kind of whatever you want with the amount of athletes that qualify. 2028 in LA is going to be huge for the United States and a big-time opportunity. They've been dominant in the Olympics. 2028, they have a chance to truly be dominant in the host Olympics. I'll also say, man, I wish they had one more gold medal. I don't even like the thought of China claiming victory because they tied America in gold.
What was the last gold for us?
It would have been USA women's basketball. Those were the last medals awarded.
Yeah, so that was, but it's not like
that tied it.
that tied it. China would have had the most golds.
I had someone ask me, "Do you not get golds for every member of the team?" Like, no, that doesn't count. It's one. For the gold count, it counts for one medal when the team wins it, not every member of the team.
Chad?
That would have been nice. We'd have blown China out of the water.
Yeah, for every
assistant coach, every manager, every player on the USA women's team. Yeah, that would have been awesome to see.
So it's highly unlikely that the trio of Durant, Curry, and James are back for 2028. Chad mentioned the games in LA. Is this the end of the USA domination era in basketball? And hear me out on this, because I think the work really begins now. In terms of how we view the NBA, it's a Euro-style league now. It's been taken over by the globe, and it's been set up by the association itself. They're totally fine with that. But it was the old guard and the young guard for Team USA in this Olympic Games. And while we saw Anthony Edwards have his moments, Jason Tatum, of course, played in the second game, not the first game. You've got Devin Booker. Kawhi Leonard's hurt, but he would have been on this roster too. It still was the old guard, Curry and LeBron and Kevin Durant. And everyone else took a back seat. You could see the USA bench whenever Curry hits this three and they go to sleep. They're mimicking him as well. You know, it's like a looking up to your mentor type moment. And you start thinking, largely in the NBA, college basketball, just basketball in general, the quote-unquote guy, has been pretty easy to spot, from LeBron to Garnett to, of course, Curry. Whenever he made it to the league, you've got Durant and Kobe, Anthony Davis, Shaq. I mean, you can start naming up. And Anthony Edwards maybe ended up becoming this player. But, Chad, when you take a look at the top 5 recruiting lists in basketball, those are largely fairly accurate, like pretty much spot on. A lot of guys hit off the top 5 recruiting lists year to year. That's why we pay attention to these lists. But if you start looking at the years 2016 to 2020, which in projecting what 2028 would look like, you have a group that by then should be anywhere between the ages of 26 and 32 years old for 2028. And it's a list compiled of a lot of guys like James Wiseman, Markelle Fultz. The list goes on and on of players who have just not panned out to the level of what Team USA and this roster looked like and has looked like over the 5 consecutive gold medals. So while we have Anthony Edwards to look forward to in the development, and Jason Tatum, who should become the guy that he's paid to be and has been for the Boston Celtics, and Devin Booker has been a solid NBA player. Kawhi Leonard can take over games. These guys just don't get it done versus the competition that we just watched Team USA have to go up against and then defeat. If Serbia hits a 3 with, 30 seconds left, they're up 2. If they hit a 3, they miss this 3, totally different ball game at that point. And maybe we don't even see the United States take home gold because that shot goes in. But the Euro takeover, I think, starts to take home some golds moving forward. Wembanyama, 4 years from now, may be the best player on the planet if he's on the same trajectory.
Likely will be. Just watching him yesterday, I'm thinking he likely will be.
Jokic. Let's just start looking at what these players meant to Serbia and to France. What does the American star power in basketball look like in 2028? What's the landscape really look like? I think it's the hard work that Steve Kerr now is up against compared to what we just witnessed in France, because it took a lot to win gold this go around. And it was competitive. It was fun. It was something worth watching. So will Los Angeles. Same thing. And I'm not saying that they can't take home gold, but it's no walk in the park that I think that we're used to. And the old guard gives way to who? who's the next guy to step up and be the type of player that Curry was in this moment, or be the MVP that LeBron has been over the years, or Durant stepping up and being the best American basketball player that we've seen on this Olympic stage in his golds. Chad, I just think the domination that we're used to seeing is, well, it's history compared to what we saw on the global stage here at the Olympic Games in 2024.
I don't know if they're going to play games at Staples Center or where the basketball portion of it's going to take place. But there is a scenario, to your point, Hutton, where Team USA, 5-time defending gold medalist in the Olympic Games, is going to have a bit of an underdog feel to them in the tournament when they go into it. I went ahead, while you were laying that out about Curry, Durant, and LeBron, if that's it for them, and looked at the ages 4 years from now of every other player on that roster. Okay, so I'm fast forwarding to the future. Bam Adebayo will be 31. Devin Booker will be 31. Prime time for those guys to be leaders of that team.
Yes.
Okay? Anthony Davis will be 35. Older, but someone who could still be on that team at 35. Anthony Edwards will be 27. He's only 23. A leader. That dude's got to be an alpha dog.
That could be the guy.
For Team USA. Anthony Edwards could be that guy. Joel Embiid will be 34. I don't know if Joel Embiid will still be good enough at that point to be on the team, quite frankly, because he is a bigger man that's had some health issues, staying healthy, injury issues. I don't know if he's going to be around. Could be, though, at 34. Tyrese Halliburton, didn't see him a lot. Saw him a lot in his shooting top in this tournament, but a great cheerleader on the bench for this team. He'll only be 28. He's currently 24. He'll be back. Jason Tatum, Hutton mentioned, 30 years old, prime. Needs to be a primetime player for the 2028 team. Derek White will be 34, probably not going to be a part of it. Drew Holiday will be 38. I would say definitely won't be a part of the team the next go-around. That's a solid core, but they're going to need more to win the gold.
The solid core still gave way to the old guard here.
Yeah,
right?
Here's an example. Will Cooper Flagg, who is the next big American thing that's going to Duke this year as a freshman, when he's 22, 23 years old, 4 years from now, is he going to be ready to be a contributor on the international stage, starting out in international play for the first time? Probably not. Could he be a boost to the Team USA off the bench? Maybe. But those are the types of players that have to come around.
Think about some of the players
on this list. Another one that's going to get a lot of run is Jaylen Brown. And I need to look up his age. That's the one that everyone is mad that he wasn't on this team to begin with, and Derek White was ahead of him.
So you've got Brandon Ingram, Jaylen Brown, Buddy Hield. I'm just going to go through the recent.
Jaylen Brown, by the way, will be
2016 to
31.
2020.
He will be 31 in 2028.
Markelle Fultz, Lonzo Ball, Jason Tatum, Josh Jackson, De'Aaron Fox, Jonathan Isaac. Again, I'm just going to go random through year to year. DeAndre Ayton. Let's see. Jaren Jackson, Trae Young, and Kevin Knox. Chad, have I named anybody? So Darius Garland.
He's one that would be considered. Could be 4 years from now.
P.J. Washington, Cam Reddish, Tyler Hero, James Wiseman, Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, Patrick Williams, and Jalen Smith. Tyrese Halliburton is on this list too from this year. That's my point. It's like in recent years, we're from 2016 to 2020, and those recruiting years, from where guys were ranked versus where they are now, they're not nearly to the level that we would expect them to be, where 4 years from now, you just take over, pick up where you left off, and you continue to win golds. They're talented enough to win gold, but it's not going to be nearly the type of expectation, I think, that you have going into this Olympic Games or previous. Because of the true greatness of the three-pack we're discussing.
Yeah, and I think to some extent, though, it's going to make it a little bit cooler in a way if they're not the overwhelming favorite. Like this team going into it would have been a gigantic disappointment.
Oh, yeah.
Had they not won gold. And they knew it. And they played with a spirit that was cool to watch because they knew that it was feast or famine.
But that's the bar.
It was either win the gold or you're a failure. But I can see a scenario.
As the host country, that's the bar.
For sure the bar. And look, I don't care if we're playing the damn games on the moon. Team USA, the bar is to win the gold.
But I'm saying the first Olympics without
that's
LeBron.
That's always the goal of
Curry,
Team USA in basketball.
Durant.
but they could be underdogs. Like, they may not be the Vegas favorites to win it. Could be France, could be Serbia, could be someone else. I think that's a pretty cool spot to be in if you're the Americans, to go into your home country, the host country in LA, and people doubting you and you not being the favorites. That could make for a cool basketball tournament.
And what does that mean for that it's already the Euro takeover in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
So I think that 4 years from now, what does the star power look like for the National Basketball Association? It's going to be largely made up of players that are not going to be competing for the United States, especially with Wembanyama and others. I mean, again, the top 5 to 10 players in the league, America will have their fair share of those players. But as far as true dominant players on the Olympic stage, I mean, it would have been a complete bust for us not to go and win gold this year. But we had the players to step up in those moments. You know, LeBron coming through early in this tournament. And Anthony Edwards had his moments. But when it actually got down to time to go win some medals and win gold, it was a trio that everyone else gave way to.
Hutton, I'm looking at the top snubs for this past team to see if there's any names in there that could be great 4 years from now. They had a player list of 41 players they considered.
Okay.
They put at the top of the list and then took 12 off of that. Originally, the roster was set at 11 because they were holding out for Kawhi Leonard, who had health concerns. Well, Kawhi Leonard would have been on this team, but the health concerns was
Chose not to.
Of those players that were not selected, Jalen Brunson is considered the top American snub on the team. Paul George, who's going to be old by the time it comes around again. And the other one is Herb Jones, former Alabama Crimson Tide player playing for the New Orleans Pelicans. He'll be in training camp here at Belmont in Nashville for next year's season. Was also listed as a guy that was snubbed.
You know who needs to be on this, but has because of the off-the-court things? Ja Morant.
Yeah, you're right.
Ja Morant is that dude.
Man, I haven't even thought about Ja Morant in a while because of everything else.
Yeah. I mean, he's 4 years from now, we could see him suit up in the red, white, and blue.
Good.
And again.
And still young.
He was going to be the face. He's the next heir apparent. He was. He was getting the endorsements, from shoe companies. Millions upon millions, and then everything else that took place.
He'll be 29 during the 2028
That's perfect.
Olympics. He was 25 years old.
It's prime. Let's go, Ja.
Needs to prove that he is someone that Americans want to represent them in the Olympics also. He's got some proving to do. He can do it. Keep your nose clean for the next 4 years, and that's a possibility.
You think he can do it?
I hope he can do it. I'm rooting you on, Ja. I really am. I'm rooting you on.
Wait, where's Cade Cunningham?
And Zion Williamson. I'm rooting him on.
That's a good. R.J. Barrett.
Yeah, just keep the weight down. You know, you don't need to go. I'm
just thinking of all these
I don't want to see Zion go Ozempic skinny on me. You know, I just keep it down a little bit where your knees and your feet can handle the stress of running down the court, and you could be on this team too.
Chad, it was a master class by the top players on the planet for basketball. It was another master class as well, in front of the camera and hosting for NBC and one Mike Tirico.
I was fortunate enough to tune over to NBC last night for the last 12 minutes or so of their Olympic coverage, prime time in Paris, the last night. I watched a lot of the closing ceremonies live yesterday afternoon and saw the end. We can get into that, but the Tom Cruise thing, really cool. And how they ended in L.A. with the L.A. bands playing on Venice Beach. I loved it. But Mike Tirico is so good at everything he does that we take him for granted. And I want to spend some time not taking him for granted because he is an outstanding broadcaster that makes everything look so effortless and so easy, even when it's not effortless or easy. There are a lot of balls in the air. It's a juggling act when you're doing something like Olympic coverage, the way he is. And he just has this way of putting everyone at ease when he's in front of the camera. I thought he was remarkable, start to finish. I mean, I didn't see one slip up, one issue. If there was an issue, we didn't know about it as viewers. his primetime coverage is the anchor of the Olympics, which is a big-time job. And we've seen great broadcasters do in the past, from Al Michaels to Bob Costas to Dan Patrick, who split time doing it before also. I thought Tirico was as good as anyone that's ever done it. And I just wanted to take a moment to appreciate the job that he did. Those last 7 minutes last night, it was an essay from Mike Tirico with a lot of different shots of the Olympics. In that essay, by the way, he mentioned the controversy of Amon Khalif and didn't sugarcoat it. Says it's not an Olympics without issues and controversy. And it showed image of Khalif knocking someone out in the ring, and then showed the Ukrainian athletes and said, once we go back to our countries, there are still issues in front of us in the world. But for these 17 days, how awesome it is for everyone to come together in athletic competition. Well said. I thought NBC nailed it the entire time. Mike Tirico said there are over 3,000 people a part of the coverage.
I believe that.
Back home and in Paris. Behind the camera, and he talked about everyone behind the camera, how they make it easier on us in front of the camera and wanting to acknowledge them. I thought it was a masterclass performance from one of the greats in sports broadcasting.
Smooth, man.
And
by
Mike
the way,
Tirico.
he's one of the greats and one of the most genuine dudes whenever he's not on, meaning like he's not on camera or working. You see him and pass him in a concourse. Very genuine and exactly the same dude you see on camera, which is rare. He's legit. But Chad, whenever I saw this as something you want to bring up, I reached out. I'm trying to get him on as a guest.
Tirico, yeah, he's responsive
fantastic
to you in the past. I mean, it would be incredible.
He's legit.
I think it would be awesome.
And then having to juggle the tape delay aspect of everything, you know? Plus,
Yeah.
I mean, consider the awful call for the track and field, and then he actually saves it with the information that he jumps on and brings forth with, hey, it's actually the chest and the shoulders. He's the one clarifying all that from, home base, from their headquarters.
Yeah, again, just kudos to Mike Tirico and kudos to NBC. They had the essay from him, and then closing out, they had a long montage with the Remember the Titans theme music. Yeah. And just images that we'll always remember from the Olympics. I thought it was awesome. And it's so good that it almost goes unnoticed. We brought up the huge gap in the track and field because it was an Olympics that didn't feature a lot of broadcasting issues. No. If you're watching at home here in the United States on NBC and their coverage, they destroyed it in a good way. I mean, throughout, when you go back to even the opening ceremonies and the way they covered it, I thought it was just really, really good. Top notch.
How about the way that media is starting to cover Deion Sanders? So there's a sports columnist for the Denver Post, Sean Keeler, who, after a presser by Deion recently, this is Keeler's headline in the Denver Post, Chad. Deion Sanders, a 4-8 coach, gave a 3-9 news conference. Coach Prime showed Colorado Buffalo fans a 4-letter side they hadn't seen before: fear. This was desperate Deion, a man who stared into the future and saw 5-7 staring back. What was desperate Deion? Well, CBS Sports ranked Deion Sanders 15 out of 16 for the Big 12 coaches rankings recently. They also had a column about how he faced an uphill climb for the Buffs to actually be bowl eligible this season. Maybe it pissed him off whenever they reported that Shiloh was filing for bankruptcy. Well, here's Deion Sanders responding to a reporter for a local television station that is a CBS affiliate.
That's the end of that question, I guess. Next guy.
Eric Christensen with CBS Sports Colorado.
CBS,
Tyler,
I'm not doing nothing with CBS. Next question.
Joe Rigo, Mile High
Ain't got
Sports
nothing to do with
Radio.
you. It's above that. Ain't got nothing to do with you. I got love for you. I appreciate you, respect you. Ain't got nothing to do with you. They know what they did.
I'm here in Denver, not national.
You are who you are. CBS is CBS.
All right.
Joe
Ain't got
Rigo, Mile
nothing
High
to do with
Sports.
you. I respect you. That's why I told you that. I'm looking you in the eye as a man. I respect you. I got love for you. But what they did was foul.
Coach Sean Keeler, the Denver Post. Happy summer, my man.
You don't like us, man. Why do you do this to yourself?
Come on.
You
No,
don't
it's
like
good.
us.
Mark
You know
likes
you
me,
don't-
by the way.
Huh?
Yeah. Mark said he likes me.
No,
so
but
that's
you
one.
don't. Why do you
That's
do
one.
this, though?
No, I'm sorry. Two-parter if I could.
No, I'm
Football
serious. Why do
question.
you do this? Like, you know you don't. Like, why do you do this?
No, it's not about that. Football question.
No,
Football
no.
question.
Why do you do this? Like, it would be hard for me to really engage in someone I don't like or something I don't like. I'm just asking why. Like, why?
Gotta pay
What
the
did
bills,
I
Coach.
do?
You didn't do anything. It's not about that. This is
But
a football
why?
question.
I'm asking you why.
Yeah, you can answer, but that's
Okay,
not
answer
germane
me.
to this.
What?
Yeah.
Because you want me to answer you. So can
Yeah,
you-
okay, that's fine. That's fair. Yeah.
Why?
Why? Because I have
Give me
questions.
your why.
What's your why? What do you want to know?
Why do you always on attack? Like, what did we do?
Where am I on attack today? Where am I on attack?
Yeah, I'm not gonna give you opportunities to be on attack. But I'm asking you why. Like, what does it do for you? Like, what happened?
It's not about me.
But what happened to get you like this?
It's a good question.
No, I'm serious. Because I want to help. No, I'm serious. I want to help. Because it's not normal.
We can talk about that.
Okay.
Can I ask you a football question?
No,
Seriously.
No, we'll talk about that. When we talk about that, I'll talk about that with you.
Can we ask you a football question, please?
When I talk about that, we talk about that. We can talk about that.
I have a question over here.
Let's go.
This is your birthday. Any birthday plans for your birthday?
Well, I have.
Birthday plans was a follow-up question there. But going back to the Denver Post, and that was Keeler who asked the second question. By the way, Christensen, the first reporter from the CBS local affiliate there in Denver, that's the same station that paid for the rights to Deion's Coaches Show. So that's also an affiliate for the Buffalo's football program, which is also interesting how that's going to be handled by Deion if he's so pissed off about all this. But, Chad, Keeler wrote in the Post, this was desperate Deion, a man who stared into the future, saw 5-7 staring back. This was Nebraska Deion, as in Deion from the Nebraska postgame news conference in Lincoln, after the Buffs drop another heartbreaker. This was a side of Sanders that we haven't seen before, a confident man who suddenly looked and acted and sounded afraid. Afraid of critics, afraid of the truth, afraid of bad news looming like a tsunami at its crest. It was as if Deion had been visited by the ghost of Christmas future. Damn. And November Deion had stepped out of a time machine in the hallway and grabbed August Deion just before he walked into the touchdown club, handing the latter a game book from Oklahoma State.
Damn.
This is a complete about-face 180 from the media covering him there now compared to last year. Because he was about to enter a 4-8 season where they were going to start 3-0, and the nation was going to be all on board with everything Colorado football.
I feel like he was channeling Michael Scott to Toby when he's like, why are you the way that you are to the reporter? Why? Who hurt you? It's kind of the question he was asking. Who hurt you and who made you like this? What is your why? Why are you doing this if you hate us so much? Why? Why are you asking me a question right now? That's crazy talk to me. Especially, I would understand if it's like the Athlon Sports dude there.
Don't
and
think
you
he was
think
there.
everything's definitely not there. But if you think everything he said is a lie in his report, right, and he made it up and he's using anonymous sourcing, but none of it's true, I can understand that response and saying, I'm not talking to you, and you know what your bosses have done. And I'm not speaking to you because of, and you know, and they know why I'm not talking to you. He did that because of a damn ranking?
It was
coaching
either
staffs?
where he was ranked among head coaches in the Big 12.
That's stupid.
Or it could have been Shiloh's bankruptcy. Or it could have been an uphill climb for Deion to face an actual bowl game, to actually reach a bowl game. All that was through CBSSports.com.
Boy,
in the last month.
Deion Sanders, we really believe he's a good coach because of the start to their season that no one was expecting. But the rest of the season was what everybody was expecting, how bad they were.
You're right. Yeah.
So he better surprise people in a good way again.
Well,
because it's been nothing to me but the bad.
Think about the 3-0 start.
Since then.
What was he talking about? He keeps receipts, right? Last year, he was keeping receipts about what people had said. Remember Ed Werder, who came into the post-game presser? I believe it was at TCU.
Yeah, he got lit on fire.
Yeah, because of Ed didn't even cover college football. He was just there because of the proximity to where that game was being played in Dallas, because he's there covering the Cowboys. So he went and covered the game for TCU in Colorado. And I guess ESPN had ranked him pretty low, and he keeps receipts. Well, the media covering him is going to keep receipts on this stuff too later in the year. And how does that all play out? It doesn't look like he's going to take the criticism all that well that's going to be headed his way.
I can't wait for the follow-up from the ranking that says, hey, we got it wrong. He's actually last. We had him second to last before. So sorry, Deion, if you'd like to not talk to us again, but we missed it. We'd like to issue a correction. You're last with you and your coaching staff in the Big 12 and not second to last.